This week was brutal for me, big losses, fear kicking in, chasing moves, closing too early and watching trades run without me, but honestly my head wasn't in the game half the time, but I still fought through every session and here's how it all went down. Somehow I still managed to stay green. 5-minute chart was looking bullish, 30-minute chart made a double top and showed resistance, so I marked key levels and decided if it would break lower it would just continue dumping or just retest and long, but it started dumping 3 minutes before market open, so I was almost sure it was a shorting opportunity, but market open just shot up with insane volume, then it got resisted by Fibonacci's 50% level I had marked, which I thought was a good idea to short, but was immediately wrong as market just punched me in the face. Then I waited for it to be retested again and tried shorting this time, even with worse position. I was thinking of closing the trade manually on 3 points, but kinda held in for a better profit and was immediately thought a valuable lesson. I think I should work on cutting losers short, but I don't know.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Then I said third time is a charm and tried shorting again in a clearly uptrend market. I was also immediately wrong as I got stopped out. After this, the market just completely shut up and left me behind, fuming from my 3 losses. Then I just went on a rampage and increased my contract size to 3 and went on a revenge trading journey. I lost one more trade, then got break even after a win, but decided it was not enough and tried testing the markets, which initially led to my daily drawdown on MyFundedFutures eval as I lost more than $1,200. So I'm not proud of today's session and hope you will learn a valuable lesson from this. Never revenge trade. Never. Today's market was looking rangy and honestly after yesterday's crash out I was feeling that I had to get some profit today or just don't trade at all if I didn't see any setups, so I was just checking bigger time frames, 5 minutes or 15 minutes for nice setup. The 5 minute looked bullish while the 15 minute was kinda on a bearish side, so I just decided to let the market open show which one it was.
Do you know the way?
Market open just wicked out both sides and then crashed down like 100 points as always without me, but I was not mad because I knew the setup was bearish and just needed a good one to short. First trade was actually going strong, but my break-even got hit as it reversed. The second one was also a break-even, which I closed manually because it kept edging my entry point and I just got fed up. But after a good retest, I waited for a better setup and entered the short after an engulfing candlestick, which after I entered just dumped like 20 points in 1 second. So I was happy I didn't miss it, to be honest, and I was green for $600 for the day. Today's market looked disgusting. I don't really trade days like this, but I still waited for the open to decide which way I would go. The market had already dumped an hour earlier because of the news, but from experience on days like this, New York usually shoots up, so I decided to wait. At the open it did exactly that, shot straight up. I didn't want to rush, so I waited for a retracement. Even then, my trade was wrong. It failed to break resistance and stopped me out 3 times in a row. That almost made me crash out again because I almost increased my contract size to 3 points. Even though I held to my 1 contract rule, I realized it was kinda like a gambling because my entry point was trash, so I closed my trade manually because I don't want to crash out again. On my 5th trade I went long, but I chickened out and closed at break even. Fear of losing made me exit, and of course the market kept pushing without me, and at that point I said I have enough. I waited for 1 good entry with 3 contracts just to get back my losses without chasing big wins. So I entered and closed it manually at like 10 points and got back everything, and even ended my day in profit of like $90. Even though it eventually ran to my 30-point take profit, I didn't really want to risk it because my head wasn't in the game anymore, so I just closed the charts and called it a day. Today was a funny trading session. I secured my 30-point trade in the first minute of market open, but I decided to try my luck trading more. At this point my strategy of 1 winning trade doesn't really work for passing evals. I've been circling around for months without passing any of them. After my first win I decided to short some more, but I closed both trades in just a few seconds because my spidey sense was telling me to. I was closing them, the market kept reversing almost as if it was chasing my stop loss. I know it's a myth, no one in the market cares about my position, but it was a fun way to see things. In the end I was green for the day and felt like I was back to my prime days on eval. Friday's market was clearly a downtrend even though it was slowly crawling its way back. Nothing tells you which direction to trade better than the market open, so I decided to wait. At market open I went with my bias and shorted, but a big green candle stopped me out and shot to the moon. I didn't want to miss the move, so I entered a long position and got stopped out. I have to remind myself not to trade in the first minutes of market open. I always forget. You'd think I would take a break, but no. I re-entered the same trade and got stopped out a third time. I gave it a fourth chance, but this time I protected myself with break even. But...
Surprise, motherfucker!
What the fuck was that? As always, I followed the move like a donkey, but realized it was a bad idea and got out quickly. Then I re-entered the short with 3 contracts, but instead of trailing it with my stop loss, I chickened out and missed out on generational wealth. Somehow I still ended up green this week even with the revenge trades and almost blowing my account, but I think it's time to respect the drawdown limit and get my head back in the game. I didn't start trading to chase gambling setups, so let's hope next week I'm back on the right track. Peace.